Today on 10-Minute IT Jams, we're joined by Jason Grbevski, who's the product manager at Sennheiser. Sennheiser has a wide portfolio of sound and programmed wireless device solutions. And Jason joins us today to discuss how the company is working in the business communications market. And thank you for joining us today, Jason, and welcome to the Jam.
Thank you very much, Mitchell. Thanks for having us.
No worries. So just to start off, to give an overall picture of things, for a business that hasn't worked with Sennheiser before, what are your key products and offerings?
So I guess a little bit of history on who Sennheiser is. We've been manufacturing professional audio products for over 75 years. And while you may not have dealt with us in a business communications perspective, you've certainly heard our products on your favorite recordings, one of your favorite concerts, or a popular broadcast on television. So we have a pedigree of high quality engineering from an audio perspective, and we've transitioned that into what is now the business communications division that is solely focused on dealing with a couple of four main categories that encompass some of the products that we deal with. So we have some hero products within each of those categories. The first is meeting and collaboration, which is probably key to your reader base. And we have some products within that category that deal with collaborative environments and the corporate space where not only the traditional meeting space, but also multifunction spaces and how they get used for modern communication. And so products like our TeamConnect Ceiling 2, which is a beamforming ceiling microphone that is really designed to cover large spaces and give complete freedom and mobility for users and participants in those meetings to collaborate as they see fit without being tethered to a microphone that's directly in front of them. Along with the TeamConnect Intelligent Speaker. So that's a new collaboration between ourselves and Microsoft as part of their intelligent speaker platform with Microsoft Teams that leverages things like Cortana voice control, as well as voice profiles for discrete transcription, and leveraging the expanding functionality within the Teams Rooms platform. And then we move on to presentation and lecture. So this is another category for us that is primarily dealing with higher education and education environments, or really wherever you need to deliver content in an education style setting. And so we have a range of wireless microphone platforms, as well as things like the TeamConnect Ceiling 2. But our SpeechLine Digital Wireless is a product that was specifically designed for these environments. And it really tackles the challenges that somebody faces, not only as a user of that kind of product, but also as a facility on how we manage large distributions of those products across an organization. And then lastly, we have assistive listening with and visitor guidance. So these are our products like our tour guide product, but in recent years, we've developed a product called Mobile Connect, which allows for the delivery of high quality audio at low latency over the existing Wi-Fi infrastructure. And it's quite a scalable system that allows us to do a large number of spaces and deliver high audio channel counts across that existing network. And so from a box and hardware perspective, that's the categories that we really fit into. But the glue that binds all of that together is the software layer. And so we have a product called Control Cockpit that allows you to deploy, maintain, monitor, and control all these devices across the facility. So that's really what allows us to digitize the workflows that you would normally encounter in dealing with these when they're deployed across an enterprise or a campus.
Absolutely, yes, and that's very crucial at these times. In terms of Sennheiser's approach to business communications in general, why is this an area of focus for you guys?
So I guess the nature of business has changed. When we look at AV technology was particularly something what was reserved for the most premium of spaces in the high multinationals and corporates in a dedicated video conferencing suite or room. And that's really not the case now. The democratization of that technology has allowed the individual to have that same level of connectivity and control at their desk. And so there's an expectation of that to be able to be easily actioned and engaged with when I walk into the office environment. And likewise in the education space, there's been a shift to allow participants to choose the way they want to learn in these hybrid environments. part of these are driven by the pandemic, post-pandemic world, but really these trends were existing moving forward. And so our approach is to really become, we want to be your first choice when it comes to advanced audio technology in those meeting and education environments. And so from a development perspective, we need to look at user-driven design. So who are our users? Both the end user of our product, but also the facility that has to manage and maintain those products. And so we need to address certain key points that make our products a little more user-friendly for the end user, but also for the facility to be able to manage and monitor those without difficulty. And then lastly is our products are generally the edge devices that sit on the AV system. So we're tasked with acquiring or delivering that high quality audio signal. But when it comes to how that is distributed and arranged and manipulated once it's in the client's environment, there are generally other platforms that the Sennheiser products will connect into. And so we are really trying to not build ecosystems that closes our clients into a certain platform, but enable the ability to give them choice as to what type of platforms our devices connect into. But also on top of that, it needs to be simple to deploy. So part of our goal is to develop strategic alliances with these other product platforms so that for the choice for our clients, it's quite easy for them to not only make the choice from a Sennheiser product perspective for acquisition of that high quality audio, but it's easy to deploy and to monitor. And there's certain cost saving implications that come with that down the line that are beyond just what the product does on the brochure.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned a little bit about being in a post-COVID world. Why do you think quality audio is so important for businesses in this post-COVID world?
Yeah, well, I guess without dialogue, nothing happens in our day-to-day environments. Video conferencing has really become something that is available to each individual, but I think there has sometimes been a focus more on the video side and not so much the audio side. And I guess that's because the video side is tangible. But if our cameras failed right now and the audio still continued, we could continue this conversation. We can have that dialogue. So, work still gets done. And so audio is more a part of what we do on a day-to-day basis, especially with remote work and hybrid learning. The audio is more crucial because we're spending more time in these classes, in these meeting and remote environments. So if it's not of a certain standard, it becomes very fatiguing to listen to over time. And that becomes agitating. You have less patience for your colleagues. It may make or break the deal if the quality of that audio signal is not great. But it is, I think, more recognized that quality audio is imperative as an essential service now, much like it was, having the sprinkler system installed, but also having adequate IT infrastructure in our venues and our environments. So, yeah, the spotlight has now been shown a little bit more on spending some money on quality infrastructure for those applications.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously big themes at the moment are productivity and collaboration. How do you think Sennheiser's solutions can enable this in a professional setting?
Yeah, I guess beyond acquiring that quality audio signal, we need to look at it at a couple of different layers. So one is from the end user perspective. So the user is using these environments, whether that's a lecture theatre in a university or whether that's a meeting space in a commercial environment. Can we simplify the on-ramp into getting a meeting started and getting a lecture started and initiated? So, what intuitive features can we build into those products so that there's no barrier to entry? The second to that is making the technology disappear from the end user's perspective so that it's not a conscious part of their use of the room. And I guess from a productivity perspective in a meeting environment, things like our TeamConnect Ceiling microphone, where it gets installed in the ceiling and it covers the entire volume of participants in that space. they don't need to talk to a microphone in front of them. They don't need to have any apprehension or nervousness about having something poking straight in their face. They can start to converse with their clients or their colleagues across the table. And that's one of the really intangible benefits of the Sennheiser products that we see, is that collaboration just flows. It's not, the technology is not getting in the way of that meeting and that conversation. And also, when we talk about remote participants, often you may have a group of colleagues that are sitting in a meeting space, but there might be one or two colleagues on the far end of that video call. Well, generally, you find is that most of the participants in that room will talk to the far end of the call rather than to each other, because the technology is there in front of them and it's an imposing presence. Whereas making that disappear, it just allows that dialogue to flow. And in an education environment, the choice is there for a student or for an academic to understand, I can feel free to teach the way I'm teaching students in the room and give that same experience to those remote participants that decide to sit into that lecture at home. And so there's no compromise on no matter which choice I take, whether I'm going to sit in the space or whether I'm going to sit remotely.
Yeah, and just to finish off, talking about the Australia and New Zealand market, what kind of trends are you seeing around sound and in this space?
Yeah, so I guess we're starting to take an approach where our products are more intelligent. They all sit on the network. They're all controlled via our Control Cockpit software platform, but also external control systems like Crestron and Extron, for instance, and QSC. So what intelligence can we embed into these products that add value beyond just acquisition of audio? And we look at things like our TeamConnect Ceiling microphone, where we can provide coordinate information of where that participant that is speaking is detected in the space, and send that information into an external system to recall camera presets on a PTZ camera, so that we're embedding video follow audio within that same platform without having to have something external added to the system. From an education perspective, perfect example is the Speechline Digital Wireless platform, which gives us complete control of our devices end to end. So from a support perspective, the facilities managers and support staff at these universities can maintain and monitor these devices without being physically in the room, even if there is a need for support. And then we start to build preventative measures with this telemetry we get back from the devices, so that we can make changes or take action on something that is perceived to be a problem imminently, but take control of that issue before it becomes a problem for the user themselves. So the idea is that we're building preventative workflows and also digitizing those workflows where they may have been manual scenarios that would have been taken care of physically room to room in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some great stuff you got there, and we look forward to hearing more from Sennheiser in the future in regards to the business and the education side of things. So thanks so much for joining us, and yeah, look forward to hearing more from you.
That's great. Thanks very much for your time, Mitchell.